Hello! Okay, guys, it is I, the real Randy Chavez, coming at you with a Pokemon sales video. Base Charizard, first edition PSA 8, but not just the base Charizard. There was first edition PSA 8 Blastoise and first edition PSA 8 Venusaur. So they're all first edition, all PSA 8, all base set holos, and all together combined, they got $8,200. So if you take, let's say, Blastoise and Venusaur that are first edition PSA 8s, maybe 500 each. You know, you have a base set Charizard PSA 8 at, like, let's say about $7,000. You know, between 7.2. That would be a record price point for the base Charizard. If you take the Blastoise and Venusaur and say they're a little higher, and maybe say they are, even up to 1,000 each. You know, you still have 6,200 for the base set Charizard. That's generally what you would think. So Blastoise and Venusaur between 500 and 1,000. Base set Charizard between, you know, $6,000 and $7.2,000. So moving past that, we have a Fossil Zapdos first edition PSA 9, sell for $157. Had a Flareon Gold Star from EX Power Keepers PSA 7, sold for $177. Lugia first edition PSA 8, sell for $900. Like I said, I think that's a $1,000 card because the 9 is like $2,200 at this point. Lugia first edition BGS 9, and it had a, not only was it a BGS 9, but two subgrades, the edges and the corners, had 9.5s, and that sold for $1,500. I think that should be more. I think that should be well over $2,000, just my opinion. T17 Typhlosion, number 17, first edition, raw, had a nice swirl. I would have given it an 8 to a 9, sold for $835. So whoever got that, that was a good price. Venusaur, base set. Remember the other one that had a record price last week of $6,200? Or it was like 2 days ago. All right, so the fifth bid on this was $5.1,000. The fourth bid was $5.5. The third was $6,000. And the final two were $8,000 and $8,100. Another record price point for Venusaur. Is the $6,000 the support line? Is this the new? I don't know. Like I said, base set is due for a freaking spike, and we've seen it with the Zapdos. We've seen it with the Venusaur. I think you're going to see that with all of them now. I think I might have missed the boat. You've seen it with Raichu. Base set Charizard first edition PSA 8. This one's just by itself. So first edition PSA 8. This sold for $7,000. And you're thinking, like, PSA 8, $7,000. That's, you know, that's what the 9 was going for a couple months ago. You're absolutely right. You know, for a while the 9 was at like $5,000, $5,300. Then moved to $6,000. Then moved to $7,000. Then moved to $8,000. So $7,000 was a new price point. Everyone's like, whoa. And then I think because privately, it's become public information that the private sales of Charizard first edition PSA 10 have gone up to like $55,000. You know, $55,000 price point for PSA 10 now. Even though that one hasn't sold publicly, privately that's what it sold for. And also privately had a base Charizard PSA 9, you know, first edition sell for $15,000. So this is the new normal. You know, half of that 9, you're going to get $7,500. So the fact that one sold at $8.2,000 in conjunction with the Blastoise and Venusaur, yeah, let's say that Venusaur is selling for about anywhere from $1,000 to like $2,000, or $2,000 probably a little high for the 9. You know, let's say it's, yeah, let's say 1,000 to 1,200, 1,500 for the 9. The Venus, it's insane. The base set Charizard first edition PSA 8 getting $7,000. I am not surprised. I'm not surprised at all because the 9 is $1,500. So again, half of that is right in line. Base set Mewtwo first edition PSA 10. I remember in 2018 when I was getting into this, I could have got that card for $1,500. I didn't. Now the fifth bid was $4,100. Fourth bid was $4,650. Third bid was $4,700. Fifth bid was second bid was $5,100, and the winning bid was $5,200. And that is a record price point for that Mewtwo. We had a T18, Typhlosion PSA 18, first edition PSA 9. This is the one that is more common. It is less rare. It's easier to get. Sold for $600. We had a Dark Weezing, first edition PSA 9, sold for $77. Yeah, moving back to that T18, we were getting close to $900, and now we're getting 600, around. So that's the corrective price point that we're getting right now. And past that, we had a Starmie. I just love this card. Starmie from Neo Revelation, first edition PSA 10. Starmie deserves a holo, folks. This is a beautiful card. It's one of the only ones in Gen 1, Gen 2 that kind of has a dual type. I mean, a lot of them have dual typing, you can get dual moves, but it's water first, but it knows psychic moves. Psychic moves, and it's got high special. It's a really good card. I love this card. It's beautiful, and you can get it for $42. This is an amazing card. First edition PSA 10, this is fantastic. So, I just love that card. I don't even have it. I just want it. I'm dying. COVID. Blaine's Charizard, first edition PSA 9. Fifth bid was $910. Fourth bid was $980. Third bid was $1,100. I'm sorry, the third bid was $1,000. Second bid was $1,100, and the winning bid was $1,125. I don't know what the one that sold for like yesterday, 2 days ago. I know it was around the $1,000 to $1,200. So yeah, it's safe to say Blaine's Charizard new price point is $1,000, even though I think it's going to be worth more than that in the future. Feraligatr, first edition PSA 9, the one that is also easier to get. Number 4 is the one that's, from Neo Genesis, easier to get, easier to grade, sold for $255 for that PSA 9. So the 9 that I sold like a month ago for $215, this is the record price point now, $255. We had an Umbreon first edition from Neo Discovery, PSA 9 holo. This one got a lot of new record price point too. Fourth bid was $700. And that's the fourth bid. Third is $750, second is $785, and the winning bid, just shy of $800, was $795. We had a T18, same thing as before. Typhlosion number 18, first edition PSA 9, sold for $575. So I think between $550 and $650 is the price point of the 9 now. Anyone that got excited like me and wanted to sell it for like $2,000, even $1,000, not happening now. Not unless all of these are taken off the market, and then you have a couple people who's like, oh, I want this. Oh, this is the cheapest option, and that's what they take. Pidgeot, first edition PSA 10. I love this card so freaking much. The holo version is just sold for $1,175. I'm not sure if that's a record price point. That's close. I know the last one that sold was the first one over $1,000, at least publicly anyway. So this is the support line for Pidgeot now. Slowking, first edition PSA 8, sold for $128. I think that card is very undervalued as well. Because again, that 10, this is what, 9 or 10 copies for Slowking, Neo Genesis, first edition PSA 10 holo. What do I think of that card? Because it has so few 10s, that's a minimum $5,000 card. Minimum. So, and the minimum 9 should be $500, but it's not. You can get it for like $300. And this is, the 8 should be minimum $250. Even though I think it should be more, the 8 should probably be several hundred. And the 9 should be, $1,000, because that 10 is going to get, I say minimum 5, but it should get $7,000, $7,500, because there's as few of them as there are T17s. Now I don't know the liquidity of the 10s, so if the T17, based on the last sale, and it has 10 PSA 10 copies, has, a market cap of $100,000, again, that's just based off the last sale, this should have the same thing. And I will do a video about market caps eventually, kind of translating it from stocks to Pokemon. There's really like no reason to do it. I just want to do it because it'll be fun. But yeah, this card is severely undervalued, the Slowking. And the reason why you can get the 8s and the 9s so cheap is because the 10 hasn't been sold in a while. And once it sells, people are going to be like, oh, shizness. Anyway. Also, there is a PWCC auction going on, ends in like 8 days. I want to do a live stream of me reacting to all the prices, and like, oh, here it is, oh god, 30 seconds left. And I think that would be really fun. I think that'd be a cool idea. Let me know if you guys want to do it. I'll probably just do it anyway, and then we'll get like 1 view. But I think that'd be fun. Real time, you get to see my reaction, just like, and my thoughts in the moment. I need another phone or like a Chromebook or an iPad, and I need to like do this constantly. I'll be like Nick Fury going. Anyway, guys, that is it for today. Love you all. I will catch. Before I go, there was one piece of data that was I have there's less than 100 of them. There's a Neo Genesis packs, first edition packs, and you can get packs graded by PSA, and there's less than 100 PSA 10s, for all four artworks. There's like 22. So I think there's less than 90, in PSA 10 form, and I have it listed at $5,000. I got a best offer for $3,000, and I was like, yeah, all right, cool, I'll do it. So I clicked accept the offer, and then the guy said, oh, I just finished my Neo Gen set. I thought this was Neo Revelation. Please cancel it. Like, okay, I'll cancel it. But based on that transaction, the Neo Revs, if you have those first edition packs graded at PSA 10, if you have all four, I don't know how many artworks there are in Neo Revelation, but that's $3,000 item. Yeah, so just for anyone that has those or wants to get those, that is the closest price point I have. That's the only data point I have. Those are still on sale. I'll link eBay store. For everything else, I'll talk to you guys later. All right, bye.